You are about to listen to a free portion of the Young Turks. To podcast the complete show, sign up for membership at tytnetwork.com/membership.
All right, back on the Young Turks. It's Wisconsin tonight. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell Randy Gonzalez. We're coming. 8:45 p.m. Eastern. That is going to be on tytnetwork.com/live. That's where you got to go tell everybody in social media, tytnetwork.com/live, okay? Well, tell them to come watch right now, actually. We're live. So, Mr. Red Penguin writes in, Jordan Chariton will be on tonight? Sure sounds like my lucky night. TYT is amazing. I never cared about reporters before. How cool is that, right? Damn, Jordan, there you go again with your reporting. Okay, so yes, he'll be on tonight with us. He's in Wisconsin, on the ground. Will he have a cheesehead? I don't know. We'll find out when we go to him, and we'll go to him right away when we start our broadcast at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Okay, Vincent writes in, Jenk, best Sarah Palin impression ever. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. And then Steph Moss is going to get himself a T-shirt for this tweet. Asshole University sounds like a blast, although I don't want to know what their class ring would be. All right, nice job, Steph. Get that guy a TYT T-shirt. ShopTYT.com. Okay, all right, we move forward. These two stories are very important, okay? And then I've got some historical stuff for you that's amazing a little bit later in the program. That's always a good tease, right? Historical stuff later in the program. Okay, here we go. So the Panama Papers have shown that there is corruption worldwide. There's a leak of a giant cache of documents, over 11 million documents that newspapers across the world are looking into now. The leader of Pakistan, along with 11 other countries implicated, Vladimir Putin implicated. He apparently has stashed away $2 billion in some of these offshore tax havens, along with his friends and associates. And a surprising name on the list to us that are not familiar with Iceland was the Prime Minister of Iceland. And guess what? We have our first person who has decided to step down because of this controversy. Down goes Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson. Down goes Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yeah. Sorry, Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson. You're done, son. Pack up, go home. So people are, of course, wondering, what in the world are you hiding in an offshore tax haven, especially because you were making decisions about banks in the crash that they had in Iceland and banking collapse that they had there? Did you have some of your money in those banks? Were you affected by that? He's like, I don't want to answer those questions. See, you wouldn't want to be you, right? So now Putin has not stepped down yet. Now, to be fair, a lot of people are saying, well, nobody could have seen this coming. I mean, the idea that people would stash money away in Panama and that you might actually have trade deals between different countries and countries like Panama just for the purpose of the rich and the powerful being able to stash their money away. Well, nobody could have seen that coming. Really? Well, let's go and find out if that's the case. Here's a guy speaking about the trade deal that the United States was going to do with Panama back in 2011.
Panama's entire annual economic output is only $26.7 billion a year, or about 0.2% of the U.S. economy. No one can legitimately make the claim that approving this free trade agreement will significantly increase American jobs. Then why would we be considering a standalone free trade agreement with Panama, tiny little country? Well, it turns out that Panama is a world leader when it comes to allowing wealthy Americans and large corporations to evade U.S. taxes by stashing their cash in offshore tax haven. And the Panama Free Trade Agreement will make this bad situation much worse. A tax haven has one of three characteristics. It has no income tax or a very low rate income tax. It has bank secrecy laws, and it has a history of non-cooperation with other countries on exchanging information about tax matters. Panama has all three of those. They are probably the worst.
Apparently somebody could have seen it coming. So for all those people saying, we are shocked to find out there's gambling in this establishment. Yeah, no, you all knew, okay, but there's only one guy who told us. Now, the establishment can't figure out why people are supporting Bernie Sanders. Well, being right for 40 straight years, pretty good reason to support a guy. A lot of them talking about like, oh, his supporters don't know any of the facts. No. We know exactly what the facts are. The ones he warned us about, the ones he told us about ahead of time. Now you might say, well, hey, wait, Cenk, be fair. Hillary Clinton was probably on the same side, right? I mean, Democrat and, progressive, right? I mean, she says she's not a liberal, but progressive, I hope, kind of, somewhat. So she was probably against the Panama trade deal, too, realizing these significant problems with it. Well, let's find out.
One of our top goals is to complete free trade agreements with Colombia and Panama. Now, I'm not talking out of school when I say that free trade agreements always raise hard questions, and they spark a lot of healthy debate in our country. But today, I'm happy to report we are making great progress on both agreements. Panama passed important new laws on labor rights and tax transparency. So this year, early this year, we intend to send Congress the legislation that would implement all 3 pending FTAs. Now, I think this is good news for the people of all of our countries. In the United States alone, these 3 agreements, Colombia, Panama, the Andean trade preference renewal, could add more than $10 billion to our economic output, and that would translate into some 70,000 new jobs for American workers.
Good one. Where are those 70,000 jobs now? I haven't seen any evidence of it, right? But there she is on tape at the same time as Bernie Sanders is saying the whole point of it is a tax haven. She's saying, oh, no, man, I am happy to report that these free trade agreements with countries like Panama, we are going to do them, and we are going to do them because of their economic benefit. Okay, gee, I wonder why people are supporting Bernie Sanders. It must be because, as the establishment says, they don't have enough facts. Hilarious. I just showed you the facts. Now, okay, you might say, but again, Cenk, that's not fair. Bernie Sanders is the only person who figured it out back then. You can't put that on Hillary Clinton. She went along with everybody else, just like she did in the Iraq War, just like she did in deregulating the banks, just like she did every time the establishment made a major, colossal error. She just went along. No one else could have known. Bernie was the only other guy to know. Well, if Bernie's the only guy to know and he's in the race, who should you vote for? I can't quite tell. All right, but that's also not true. One other guy at the same exact time, while covering Occupy Wall Street, also had a warning about the trade deal with Panama. Let's find out who that is.
It turns out that Fox News' parent corporation, News Corp, run by Rupert Murdoch, of course, has been lobbying in favor of tax havens, the free trade deals that created the tax havens, or not only the tax havens in Panama already existed and Fox News already takes advantage of them, but the free trade deal basically sanctions it and says the United States government cannot do anything to check it, okay? So Fox News, of course, loves that because they have 136 subsidiaries in offshore tax havens, okay? That the legislators and Fox News claimed, oh, we're going to get some great economic benefits for the country by doing our deal with Panama. Panama's economy is so small that it's less than half of News Corp's worth. So News Corp is worth twice as much as what the entire Panamanian economy is. Fox News doesn't care about Panama because of how it's going to help the American economy. They care about it because they get to hide all their money offshore in places like Panama. That's why they wanted to pass.
Yeah, no one could tell that the trade deals we were doing with Panama was just to help the rich and powerful hide their money, except for everyone paying attention. Why didn't the media report that? Oh, right, because they were also taking advantage of those offshore tax havens. And look at that. Yet again, Hillary Clinton agreed with Fox News Channel. I'm so sorry for pointing out facts. That's just very rude of me. I should tone it down. One more thing. The Clinton camp keeps saying, no, Sanders is unrealistic. He's so unrealistic the way he's been right all along. So you should vote for us because we'll give you a little bit of change. But they never told you which direction that change is going. Because Hillary Clinton did give us change. She For example, we weren't at war with Iraq, and then we were. That was change. Hillary Clinton supported that action. Hillary Clinton supported deregulating the banks in the first place under her husband, and then later helped them with the bankruptcy bill. Still to this day says we shouldn't bring back Glass-Steagall so that the bankers will stop gambling with our money. So she brought us change in all those things, but it wasn't in the right direction. And in the case of the free trade deals, specifically with Panama, I'm not against all free trade deals. I was against that specific one because that one was an obvious fraud to help the rich hide their money so we pay the taxes and they don't. And everybody knew it at the time. You were either on that side, which all the establishment and the rich and the powerful were, or you were against it, which was us and Bernie Sanders, right? Or anyone paying attention who didn't have something to gain, right? So when she says she's just going to give you an incremental change, and that's more practical and realistic, you should ask her, which direction? Because all the change she's given us so far in all those different deals didn't go in our direction. It went in a right-wing direction. It went in the direction of power and money. It went in the direction of her donors. And now she tells us, don't worry, I'm going to give you some change. I say, no thanks. What leads you to believe she's going to give you change in the right direction? So if you tell me Bernie Sanders is going to try for change that's absolutely right, and Hillary Clinton is not going to try for that at all, she's going to try for just a little bit of change, but going in the opposite direction, gee, as a progressive, who should I vote for? I can't quite figure it out. Look at the tape. Decide for yourself. Okay. Oh, God, they're so wrong. All right, we move forward. Speaking of which, that leads us to our next story. Okay. Hillary Clinton is tired of the Bernie Sanders camp's lies, she says. In fact, here, let me show you. This is when she had a run-in with a Greenpeace activist about her donors in the fossil fuel industry, and then I'm going to have the facts for you. Let's watch.
Protect climate change. Will you act on your words and reject fossil fuel money in the future in your campaign?
I do not. I have money from people who work for fossil fuel companies. I am so sick. I am so sick of the Sanders campaign lying about me. I'm sick of it.
Sick of them lying about me. First of all, she was not with the Sanders campaign. R. Jordan Chariton interviewed her on TYT Politics. She works for Greenpeace, not for Sanders. And Greenpeace is trying to get all the candidates to stop taking fossil fuel money. And she does take fossil fuel money, but I'm going to show that to you in a second. First, I want to show you one more Hillary Clinton interview on air talking about the same issue.
When people make these kinds of claims, which now I think have been debunked, actually the Washington Post said 3 Pinocchios. The New York Times also analyzed it, and other independent analysts have said that they are misrepresenting my record. I'm just not going to. I feel sorry sometimes for the young people who, believe this, do their own research, and I'm glad that we now can point to reliable, independent analysis to say, no, it's just not true.
Oh, she feels sorry for you guys. You don't know anything, you young people. You're fools. Why won't you vote for me? I don't understand. Perhaps something to do with your condescension? So let's go to the actual facts. She says that, oh, no, it's debunked. Okay, great. I'll go to the source itself that, quote unquote, debunked this story. Washington Post. She talked about it there, okay? So they explain, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, as of March 21st, the Clinton campaign has received nearly $308,000 from individuals in the oil and gas industry. That doesn't look too debunked. In fact, they explain later it's actually $333,000 when you take it all into account. Now, that is directly people who work for the oil and gas companies giving money to Hillary Clinton's campaign. Now, it could be that perfectly lovely people work there and they happen to give money to Hillary Clinton. For example, Bernie Sanders also got $54,000 from people working at the oil and gas companies. Now, $54,000 is a hell of a lot less than $308,000, but we're at the tip of the iceberg here in the real money that was given to Hillary Clinton. I'll get to that in a second. But it's one thing if some random person, whether they're a clerk or an executive at an oil company, decides, hey, I like Bernie Sanders or I like Hillary Clinton, and I'm doing this because I think it's the right thing for the country. It's another thing when lobbyists that work for those companies bundle money for you. See, that's a coordinated effort. Okay, so now let's go to those larger numbers. This is, again, the Washington Post. Greenpeace tracked nearly $1.5 million in bundled and direct donations from lobbyists currently registered as lobbying for the fossil fuel industry. Okay, well, that sounds like a lot of money, but we're not done yet. Then another $3.25 million in donations were directed by such lobbyists to Priorities USA, a super PAC backing Clinton, Greenpeace claimed. Then they go on to explain, yeah, that's right. Where's the debunked part? Well, I'm going to get to that, and this is hilarious. Despite the fact that they say, yes, those numbers are correct, they gave it 3 Pinocchios. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. Saying mainly this is a lie. Bernie Sanders is a liar. Even though the facts are absolutely right. And they concede the facts. So why? Now, keep in mind, Washington Post, which she called neutral, has already written op-ed after op-ed scathing attacks against Bernie Sanders. He's unrealistic. He's a socialist. He's no good for the country. Literally the most scathing op-eds in the entire country. Worse than the Wall Street Journal's op-eds. Okay? So that's the Washington Post. So they go, okay, the facts are accurate. Now, let me tell you why I don't like Bernie Sanders. So now here's the rest of their analysis. Quote, we should note that under the law, Clinton cannot coordinate with the super PAC, so she has no control over these donations. That's your astute political analysis, that these politicians are not coordinating with the super PACs. Oh, that super PAC that's spending tens of millions of dollars on my behalf? Well, golly gee, this is the first I heard of it. Really? That's your political analysis, Washington Post? Because they are the establishment. Like, I don't see any corruption. They collected $4.5 million on her behalf. No, they're probably not coordinating. Probably not coordinating. That is preposterous. It's embarrassing if that's what you really think is going on in American politics. Well, the American people don't agree with that. Okay, so now, wait, they've got more excuses. So they explain, so that adds up to all the donations to Hillary Clinton, up to more than $4.5 million. So they acknowledge it. They acknowledge it right there, right? That's certainly a bigger number than the $333,000. That's basically the money directly given to her campaign. But it's still only 2% of the total contributions received by Clinton and outside groups backing her. Now, that's true. But think about that for a second. Their excuse for her is, yeah, I know she took $4.5 million from the oil guys, but she's taken so much more from the others. The bribes that the oil and gas companies gave her are small compared to what the banks gave her. See, not guilty. Bernie Sanders is a liar. Okay, I'm just quoting here. Okay, let's keep reading here. Here's another excuse. There's a further problem with this calculation. Greenpeace counts all the money raised or contributed by lobbyists as, quote, oil/gas industry funds, but these lobbyists have many other clients besides the oil industry. Oh, I see. So since these lobbyists are trying to corrupt her, and they're not giving it for their health, they're looking for a return on investment, that's why they're lobbyists, but they work for drug companies and oil companies and banks, so let's not count it as money from the oil companies. Hey, that's one way of looking at it, okay? So don't worry, guys. She's been corrupted by all the industries, not just oil and gas. In fact, they give an example. Ben Klein, one of the lobbyists highlighted in the Greenpeace report, also lobbies for American Airlines, Cigna, and Hearst, according to the lobbying disclosure database. So in theory, his contributions to the Clinton campaign could also be labeled as funds for airline, insurance, or media industry. Well, you're right. They've also bribed her. Now, the Washington Post would be aghast at my suggestion that millions of dollars handed to a politician is a bribe. No, that's just charity out of the goodness of their heart. They don't expect anything in return. This is what they call political analysis at what has become the pathetic Washington Post. Really? This is your analysis of who's right and wrong on this issue? Okay, we're not done yet with the excuses. Just a couple more here. Quote, there's no evidence any of these actions were tied to campaign contributions. Now, by the way, that's after they list a number of votes, because the Bernie Sanders campaign listed it, so they had to put it in the paper, of ways that she has voted with the oil and gas industry, including the tar sands in Canada, when, in that case, she's not voting, but she's headed in that direction as the Secretary of State. She was in favor of approving it, and then you've got her votes in the Senate when she was a senator, and all that. But she seems to vote with oil and gas. That's okay, fine. And she got $4.5 million. That's absolutely true. But you can't, no, she's a beloved, honorable politician in Washington. How dare you challenge her honor in this way? Of course, those campaign contributions are not tied to the millions of dollars she got from that industry and all the other industries. Wow. The lies have become so brazen. I mean, it's Orwellian. This is in the midst of an article that has the temerity, the gall, to claim that Bernie Sanders is lying. In their final analysis, they said, in the context of her overall campaign, the contributions are hardly significant. $4.5 million from lobbyists, hardly significant, given the hundreds of millions of dollars she's pocketed. What corruption? Bernie Sanders, liar. They acknowledge the $4.5 million number is correct, but they called him a liar anyway. Because they said, well, it pales in comparison to all the other money that she's taking. And, well, and we don't know if her super PAC and her are coordinating. I see no evil. I hear no evil. And these hundreds of millions of dollars given to her, you're suggesting that was for her to vote in their direction? And she did? Well, that's true, she did. But you're suggesting that? Oh, my God, what a liar you are. Pathetic. These are the real facts. Okay. Now, then she's going to send out her establishment lackeys to fight the good fight for her. Let's skip over the first Barney Frank video. Barney Frank goes out there and calls the voters stupid. I've seen it before. They don't understand how the process works. If you kept voting for Democrats all along, I read a huge interview with him about this. If you just voted for the Democrats, vote for me. Give me more power. And then you would have what you want. No. I wouldn't have what I want because the establishment Democrats took the same donor money and did the same exact things that those same donors wanted. No. Just bow your head and keep voting for me, right? Well, our own Jordan Charrington caught up with him, a reporter for TYT, and Barney Frank, an interesting point he made in their defense. Let's watch.
Could you understand why the average American is concerned about Secretary Clinton's track record? She's gotten a lot of big donations from banks.
No, I get big donations from banks. I don't believe that people on the left should engage in unilateral disarmament. Is it really your goal to have us all lose? Because I wish they weren't giving banks. But here's my concern with that viewpoint. Judged by the results, what impact have those donations have that people can point to? But yeah, not only did I take a lot of donations from financial institutions, I was chairman of the committee where I was passing the Volcker Rule and Consumer Bureau, but I try to get them to give to other Democrats. I think do you think it would really be better for liberals, regulators, if all the money from the banks went to Republicans as opposed to just 80%? Because we could accomplish that. We could refuse to accept any.
Yeah, that would be better. And so let me explain why. It's not because I'm an idealist, that's a dreamer, etc. No, because then you wouldn't be corrupted and you could actually fight back. Instead, what you have done is set up a game where you are a perpetual loser. They give 4 times as much money to the Republicans. They have a perpetual advantage. And then you grovel for the crumbs of the donors. And then you do what they wanted anyway. Now, I know your name's on it, so you feel very protective over Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank is not nearly effective enough. The banks that were supposed to be regulated by Dodd-Frank are now considerably larger. Oh, wow. Boy, don't hurt him, Barney. Well, you didn't hurt him. You didn't. Why do you think they gave you the money, Barney? They gave it to you because they were happy with what you were doing. Yes, they would have liked less regulation. I understand that. They would like no regulation. Of course, the robbers don't want any cops. But you're a cop on the beat saying, well, of course I took the bribe from the robbers, but the other guys were taking even bigger bribes. That is not a very good excuse. I would rather have you not take the bribes and try to actually get rid of the corruption. The Democrats apparently never even considered that. They're like, no, we're going to be the Washington Generals. Yeah, we're going to lose to those Harlem Globetrotters every time. It's so funny when they yank our shorts down and throw the water in our face. Yeah, they're getting 4 times as much. Yeah, I love this system. Let's keep going. Now here's James Carville.
You look at Dodd-Frank, and there's real accomplishment, and we're going to just throw all that over the side and turn to some hybrid socialism or something. I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. And I understand these people have a point of view, but we don't need a revolution right now. We need to become the ascendant party. We need to get really top people on the Supreme Court, which President Obama's already appointed. Is Dodd-Frank perfect? No. Can we do more? Of course. But we don't need to overturn everything we've done.
Well, we don't need no revolution. I know, James, you don't need a revolution. You're stinking rich. Why would you want a revolution? You and your wife made a lot of money being consultant for the Republican and Democratic parties. You love these patty cakes. You love the establishment. You are the establishment. So now part of the establishment who comes out and goes, oh, yeah, I got Clinton's elected. We don't need a revolution. We got some of our top people going on the Supreme Court, like Merrick Garland, who's in favor of Citizens United, who doesn't want to get money out of politics, thinks money in politics is a good idea. In speech now, he voted for a stronger version of Citizens United. Now, yeah, we got our top people in there. Going great. Yeah, tell me more about that, James.
Hillary Clinton, who's net unfavorables, broadly speaking, are relatively high.
Well, you know what? When they started every cockamamie lie, from Richard Mellon Scaife to the Wall Street Journal editorial page to Ken Starr to the Benghazi committee, which stated effect was to drive her numbers down, where none of it has amounted to anything. And then you have Senator Sanders piling on this. What do you expect? The media and the Republican Party and certain people in the Democratic Party have just gone on and piled on all of this stupidity. And why are Democrats piling on the Trey Gowdy, Ken Starr, Breitbart, Drudge message? I have no idea why they're complicit in this. When to me, it's utterly ridiculous. But yeah, so if you go out, gee, look, after all this piling on, we've knocked 10 points off of a favorable. Well, why are we chickadee-dee?
Yeah, he's so folksy. He's a millionaire, but he's folksy. Wow, the chickadee-dee. Okay, but we just presented the facts to you why people don't like her. It's not because we're Breitbart or Drudge or Richard Mellon Scaife. No, we're real progressives. So we didn't like the deals where she gave, all the things to the bankers. By the way, your boss, Bill Clinton, right, the one you're so proud to have elected, is the one that deregulated the banks in the first place, created the catastrophe that happened in 2008. Yes, George Bush added to it. But you tell me Clinton didn't do that with the deregulation? You know he did. And Hillary Clinton voted with the bankruptcy bill, voted with the banks on the bankruptcy bill when she's a senator. And now she says, no. I'm not bringing Glass-Steagall back. No, my husband deregulated it and allowed the banks to gamble with depositor money. I want to have them keep on gambling. Did the tens of millions of dollars they gave me and my family, both in political contributions and then tens of millions of dollars we put in our pockets that we got rich off of. No. It had nothing to do with it. If you accuse us of that, then you're Breitbart and Drudge. No. Those are facts, James. You don't like those facts because you work for the Clintons. You're the Clintons' boy, okay? And you work for the establishment, and you're part of the establishment, so you don't want a revolution. So anyone who brings those facts to you, you don't like at all. Go, no. Don't change the system. The system is what made them rich and powerful. Well, I got a rude awakening for you. The rest of the American people do not agree. We want change, and we want it badly. And we think that it is absolutely realistic as long as you get out of the way. Now, when we come back, I promise you the Furman tapes, they are devastating. And I'm going to relate it to what's happening today. So you've got to watch that. Come right back. So for those of you watching on the live stream, it turns out that GoFundMe thing for the lizard's real. They actually do want to buy him a bigger tank. Yeah, you just didn't know about it. But you guys have already raised like $500,000 or something. I mean, it's okay. That's okay. Take it easy.
TYT Army is amazing. Like, any call to action, you guys are there. It doesn't matter what the call to action is. Like, obviously, if it's a good thing, like you guys aren't going to support bad things, but you guys fucking jump on it.
No, you guys are awesome. So he's going to have a mansion. He's going to have a lizard mansion. In there. Anyway, so wait, JR, you got something on that?
Yeah, quick side note. It's really small. It's really amazing. I get the animal hater. The accusation here in office when Jake has never liked any animal that's ever existed.
That's right.
I think he's the one who submitted the mouse and the cockroach idea with the hydraulic smash because he's like, I'd like to see every animal smashed. Iguana? Why should he live in a can? What's wrong? Put him in a box. Put him in a can. What's going on? I don't understand this.
Who said that? You did, right?
You did.
Me?
You said to put him in a box?
No.
No, basically he's like, oh, this guy's gonna live in a mansion, as if he doesn't deserve to have a sanctuary that's okay for his size.
What a monster.
This guy.
I'm not telling you to crash it. No.
Jake's raising money to make sure he doesn't, that he stays inside a small cage.
Okay, all right. I'm going to leave it alone. I was going to go somewhere else with it. Okay, anyway, speaking of call to action, first of all, Mikey tweets in LMFAO, TYT talking about Fort Flocadale, okay, which I didn't know that's what you called it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be driving through Fort Lauderdale this weekend.
I'm sorry.
I won't, no. The Fort Lauderdale's nice. No, you're crazy. You've never even been there.
Yeah, I have been there. I've been there 3 times in the last fucking year.
No, not Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
No, I know. We fly into Fort Lauderdale. It's all the
okay.
same shit.
Oh, you're the worst.
Just keep it at 100, boo.
Okay. All right. Don't listen to her. So on Sunday, I'm going to be at a Digiday conference in Palm Beach. But I think you got to be a part of that conference. But more importantly, on Monday, I'm going to Washington for Democracy Spring.
Mm-hmm.
So should have been telling you all along. Well, I have. I told you Friday, and I'm telling you today. So democracyspring.org. Now, we're going to do civil disobedience, and we might get arrested, okay, because we're going to go and take back our house, the Capitol, okay?
Yep. Does that mean that we're going to have to, John and I are going to have to fill in for you for the first hour? Like while you're in jail?
On Monday?
Like while you're in jail.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course. I don't think they're going to let me broadcast out of jail.
Let me put that in my schedule. Fill in for Jank while he is imprisoned.
So I'm not saying you got to go to jail, but be part of the civil disobedience, right? So at least join us in Washington on April 11th, democracyspring.org. Okay, let's go show more power. All right, now just a couple more quick tweets for you guys. No more donations, writes in. Corporations don't need 3D video creation to make Hillary Clinton say what they want. They just give her money to do so. Damn. Okay. I'm a derpy panda, says a frightening prediction. The right wing will abuse this tech with a 3D face technology. They doctored real video to attack Planned Parenthood. Imagine what they'll do with this.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's true.
Taylor Walker says, Jank seems like a pun guy. Okay, Del Moy's getting a T-shirt. Normally you get it for saying something really funny or a smart, trenchant point. No, this was just a really good compliment of me, so he's getting a free T-shirt for that. He writes in, so much for the theory that Jen can only do Irish and Jamaican accents. The Russian is spot on. What now? What now?
The Russian accent's pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, okay, all right. Now, it's nothing compared to Wes's. So don't
my God, Wes is the best.
Wes might actually secretly be like a KGB agent. He's the Americans. We know it. Okay. Anyway, members of the day, Vince Macias or Macias. That's member number 1195. 1196 is Nick Wilkin. Vince and Nick, you guys are awesome. Yesterday we had a record-breaking 3 post games. I've been away for a while, so I wanted to make up for the members. tytnetwork.com/join to become a member. So we got another great post game for you today before the Wisconsin coverage starts. Go.
Yes. All right. The condom company Hero wanted to raise awareness about the importance of using condoms in order to prevent the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. Now, they decided to do so on an interesting platform, Tinder. Now, the way that they marketed their product and also raised awareness about safe sex is they created all of these fake profiles using STD-sounding names and descriptions of these fake people that are supposed to raise awareness about the STD. So let me give you examples. It's kind of hard to explain it without showing you. So one of the profiles is a 21-year-old by the name of Claramidia. Sounds like chlamydia, obviously. And then there's Johnaria.
Oh, no, another nickname.
I know. Poor John. Okay, so swipe right if you're looking for something serious. Let's put that back up again.
So that's Johnaria.
Johnaria. Okay. Swipe right if you're looking for something serious. Infertile kind of serious, right? So trying to make a point about how if you have gonorrhea well, you might be infertile if it goes untreated.
No, this is super confusing, and this ain't right, okay? Like, if I'm in Australia and I was a single person using Tinder, the degree to which I would swipe in the right direction for chlamydia over there is indescribable. What's the right way? What's the...
Chlamydia?
No, the way that you swipe. Is it right?
Right.
You swipe right?
If you approve.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll be like, and then I'm like, look at this girl's name is chlamydia. That's so funny. I hope she doesn't have it. Anyway, hey, where do you want to meet? Because that's not clear enough, right? And
It's not. So what often happens is if you match with one of these fake profiles, well, then there's a person on the other end who engages in a chat with you. Because remember, on Tinder, you can't chat with an individual unless you both match one another. That means you both swipe right and approve one another. So during the chats, they'll go into these like cheeky conversations about STDs, and they're still trying to be like coy about it, but you're right, Cenk. Like, I don't know how effective this is. And I don't know if the messages they're sending are really helpful, because I think what this does more than anything is stigmatize the STDs, or at least stigmatize the people who have the STDs, when in reality, there are smarter ways to educate the public about them.
could you
right?
imagine if chlamydia swipes left to you? Because you both have to agree. Chlamydia is like, nah, I'm not buying you.
But there are different types of Tinder users, right? So I don't know if a lot of women do this, but I know of a lot of guys who just swipe right to everyone. They just swipe without even really looking at the picture.
Because
they're
guys.
Because they're guys, right? And then, they'll match with some number of women, and if they want to chat with them, they will. But again, like, I think the worry that people have is that, again, it stigmatizes the people and gives out false information about the STDs. So let's now focus on the criticism that they're getting for doing this. There are some profiles that are trying to raise awareness about AIDS, right? So there are two fake profiles that have been created. Graphic number 13. You have 80s and then 80, right? One is a boy, one is a girl. And they start explaining...
How am I supposed to know that's for AIDS? That 80 girl, let me aid you. I mean, if I was single, I'm just saying. And then that joke with knock knock, who's there? AIDS.
That's not even like, but that's the thing. That's not really funny in any way.
Except for the fact that it's slightly funny now. But but that's not, like, as a company, you probably shouldn't do that. And AIDS is not the best thing to kid around about.
It's not, exactly. So it seems like it's making light of it, and they got a lot of criticism for it. And the company came forward and they said, look, that's not what we intended to do. They've since pulled down these profiles from their company website, but since it's already circulating on social media, it's out there. It's really hard for you to take it back, right?
No, it's definitely a little funny. I'm amused by the idea of like I'm a horny young single guy in Australia, and I'm like, oh, look at this picture. Oh, hey, 80. I don't know what 80. Who cares? 80 could be like a kind of a young name, whatever, right?
80 is a cute name.
Okay.
Oddly enough.
Right. She's like, knock, knock. Who's there? Oh, who's there? AIDS. Like, Jesus, Lord mercy. What happened?
Right.
But there'll still be guys who are like, yeah, swipe right.
Look, I think it's important to encourage people to protect themselves when they're having sex, especially casual sex, right? There's always this conversation about like how you need to confront the person you're about to have sex with and ask them if they've been tested, which has always amused me because, yeah, that is the responsible thing to do. And in an ideal world, we'd be able to have those conversations without them being insanely awkward. But like, you're about to have sex with someone for the first time. You've gone out on a few dates and you're like, I'm ready. What do? Like, do you just stop right before and tell them like, hey, when was the last time you got tested? And then how do you believe them? Like, do you ask them for documentation? Like, can I please see your test results?
Yeah, asking for documents is so hot. I mean, and it's hard for a girl. For guys, it was nearly impossible because you're like working so hard to get laid in the first place.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, maybe some of you guys are awesome and don't have to work hard. I had to work hard, right? Mm-hmm. And finally you got like, I guess so. Like, I don't know, did anybody have sex with me when they weren't saying, I guess so, right? And right before she's about to say yes, wait, have you been tested? Okay.
It seems like you're accusing them of being dirty when that's not really what you're... By the way, people with STDs are not dirty, right? Like, that's not what I'm trying to say, but It's just, it kind of antagonizes the person right before you're supposed to have sex, which is why it's important to have condoms available, right? And for some reason, this company seems to think that people don't use condoms or carry condoms with them because they think there's a stigma associated with carrying those condoms. I disagree with that. I think that it's not about stigma. It's about the fact that condoms suck and they haven't been, changed or improved at all in decades.
Yeah, it's one of those weird products that people refuse to improve, like
Yeah.
toilet seat covers. How do you rip those things and they never stay on the toilet seat?
Yeah.
Why have we used it my whole life?
Yeah.
Can't someone come up with something better?
Yeah.
All right, now back to this story. Okay, I actually, look, they got a lot of press for it, so in some sense, mission accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they were completely wrong. I think, hey, they're educating people about, hey, those things exist out there. Be mindful. You're not going to ask someone, hey, do you have gonorrhea or maybe syphilis? Right? Like, that's crazy. You're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Some you might, and God bless you. But more likely, just use a condom to be safe. And then you could have that conversation realistically probably a little bit later when you guys are a little bit more comfortable with one another, right?
Of course.
But be safe in the meanwhile. I don't mind their message. I like their message. They went a little too far with it. But I wanted to back him up on one other thing, which is, no, at least in my day, carrying a condom sometimes was awkward, right? I remember one time we're going out, and I decided we're going to a club, so I'm bringing a condom. First, you get the stinkers, like from your friends, like, oh, really? You're going to be getting laid at the club. That's what's happening. You, Mr. I guess so, right?
Yes. You know
Okay.
what? During our members only postgame show, I want to talk about my experience with guys who either had or did not have condoms. Okay?
Ooh, that's
really
very interesting.
Super juicy story. If you're a member, definitely check it out today. If you're not a member, you can become one by going to tytnetwork.com/join. Just putting that out there.
So, and last thing is, I had one friend who got mad at me for bringing a condom. He's like, oh, you totally ruined my motivation and my concentration and everything. You've ruined everything, okay? Because it's so weirdly, like, I guess he thought it was arrogant to bring it to a club. Oh, no, we were going to jinx it.
Oh, I have so many thoughts about this. I have so many thoughts about this.
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Whereas I think today, I hope more people have gotten to a better spot where they're like, hey, like, that's the cool thing to do. Like, it's the it's not cool to be an idiot, right? If you're lucky enough that you're in a situation like that, hey, way to look out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. I think it's important to have condoms with you. Okay? Even if you're going on a date with someone that you don't think you're going to have sex with, take a condom with you. You never know. Be prepared.
For the rest of the story, tytnetwork.com/join. Okay, what's next?
All right. Glamour magazine is trying to be a little more inclusive of different body types. So they came out with an issue that focuses exclusively on plus-size women. Now, they named Amy Schumer on the cover without really talking to Amy Schumer, figuring out what her size is, or even deciding whether or not she's considered plus size. And Amy Schumer didn't like it. Okay, so she wrote about this on Instagram, and she said, I think there's nothing wrong with being plus size. Beautiful, healthy women. Plus size is considered size 16 in America. I go between a size 6 and an 8. Glamour Mag put me in their plus size only issue without asking or letting me know, and it doesn't feel right to me. Young girl seeing my body type thinking that is plus size. What are your thoughts? Mine are not cool, glamour, or glamorous. Not glamorous.
Yeah. Look, so they should have clearly. That's an awkward thing to ask. That's probably among the reasons why they didn't ask. We think you're kind of obese, and we're going to put you in the plus size issue. Do you mind?
Okay, first of all, I never really thought about it, but now I'm realizing I hate that whole phrase, like plus size, right?
But look, I'm in the plus size community. Okay. And there's no good word. The reason you keep switching words is because it's uncomfortable to call anyone fat, right?
Yeah.
So, fat. Oh, that sounds terrible. Obese. Ugh. Like my doctor, I've joked about this in the post games before.
Yeah.
I'm apparently morbidly obese. Which sounds
I remember
disastrous. Okay. I'll take plus size. Plus size.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, but what glamour, look, the fashion industry and these fashion beauty publications keep trying to avoid being tone deaf when it comes to normal people experiencing normal life, right? And in the process of doing so, they continue to fail in understanding what normal people are like. So, for instance, if you want to be inclusive of the so-called plus-size community, you don't do it by creating a special issue dedicated to people that you have decided are overweight for the fashion industry, right?
Oh, yeah.
You just and you don't have to market it, right? Just change the way our system is set up by including them in your regular issues and celebrating their body types, right? So Amy Schumer is a normal woman, right? She's got meat on her bones. I don't think she's fat. I don't think she's chubby. I think that she represents normal body. I don't even want to say normal. Most body types in the United States. Most women have meat on their bones. It's just a fact of life, right? But to go around and say, categorize all these different women, like you are supermodel body type. You are plus size. You are morbidly obese. Like aside from doctors looking out for your health and trying to inform you on what you are categorized as, I don't really need a magazine telling any woman whether she's a skinny woman or a plus size woman. I feel like these standards are really questionable to begin with. Like size 16 is considered plus size, right? So then what are you if you're not a size 2, but you're somewhere between a 2 and a 16?
Yeah.
Are you?
Well, their editors claim that it's size 12 to 22. Okay. And look, Amy Schumer has made fun of her weight in the past, so I get why they put her on that list for that reason, if that's what they were thinking. On the other hand, you're absolutely right, Anna. The whole point of this episode is here's the overweight women. That's not an issue you want to be a part of.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if they had and they know they're going to get attention for it. So this, oh, golly gee, we didn't know. Come on, dude. You made a fat issue, right? And so, yeah, of course people have an issue with it. So if there was a men's health version and they're like, okay, now let's look at the fatties. Here's Jenk, one of them, right? I'd be like, hey, wait a minute now. I know I'm morbidly obese, but you don't have to be a dick about it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting situation that we're in where, again, like the fashion and beauty industry wants to appeal to the majority of people out there because the majority of people out there do not relate to super skinny models. They just don't. And again, as they try to market to them, they fail miserably. Just stop trying so hard. Just include them in your regular magazines, your regular issues, and move on with your life. Stop treating them like they're weird and they need like a special issue.
Like they've got issues. I did it again. Oh no, we didn't do the nip cake.
We got a post-game show and we got election coverage. We'll do the nip cake tomorrow.
All right, nip cake tomorrow. Nip cake's hilarious. Okay, all right, we got to go, guys. If you remember, we're going to do this story of Anna and the condoms.
Yes.
Okay, tytnetwork.com/join. And then at 5:45 for everybody, tytnetwork.com/live. Go tell friends and family, everybody check it out. Here comes Wisconsin. Is Bernie going to be able to pull it off? He's got to win tonight. If he wants to stay in the race, he's got to win tonight. Every night that he's got to win is nerve-wracking, okay? Bye-bye.